Bore da, croeso Stadiwm y Millennium yng Nghaerdydd. Good morning, welcome to the Millennium Stadium here in Cardiff. I'm sure we all know why we're here, to celebrate the fact that Cardiff will be hosting the Champions League, both the men's and women's Champions League in June 2017. It's not often we get the opportunity to celebrate such a fantastic achievement, to welcome such a fantastic and prestigious match, or games rather, to Cardiff. Over the next half an hour or so, we will hear from the five gentlemen on the top table. It's really been a team effort, and the five on the top table, members of that team who've worked so hard over the last few years to bring these matches to Cardiff in just under 2 years' time. There will be photo opportunities. There will be an opportunity as well for one-to-one interviews. And there will be an opportunity for pictures to be taken with the trophies, but respectfully, if you don't touch them, we don't want to send them back to UEFA all marked up with dirty handprints everywhere. I'll introduce the five on the top table. We have the First Minister, Prif Weinidog Cymru, Carwyn Jones. The Chief Executive, the Football Association of Wales, Prif Weithredwr Cymdeithas Bêl-rhoed Cymru, Jonathan Ford. President of the FAW, Llywydd y Gymdeithas, Trevor Lloyd-Hughes. The Group Chief Executive of the Welsh Rugby Union and owners of the Millennium Stadium, Group Prif Weithredwr Undeb Rugby Cymru a Pherchnogion, Stadium Millennium, Roger Lewis, and the leader of the City of Cardiff Council, Arweinydd Cyngor Dinas Caerdydd, Phil Bale. We'll hear from all five in a moment, but just to get in a Champions League frame of mind, in the Champions League mood, let's just have a look at this film.
This is for you, for us, the believers, the disbelievers, and the make-believers. For those that dream, and those that know how our hearts beat as the last whistles blow. For those that sing loudest to carry their side through the highs, the lows, it's all about pride. The ones who live and die for the game, that never give up, who always remain. Those that wear black, white or blue, red, green or yellow, all colors are true. This is for brilliance, resilience, for hope and despair. This is the story told by those that were there. For these are the moments that bind us together, the ones that define us, and remembered forever. These are the lives of champions made, the stuff of legends, the greatest game ever played.
Some famous players, some great teams, emotional images there, and we'll see plenty of them, I'm sure, in the next 2 years or so. And as you saw there, Champions League final coming soon, which it is, to Cardiff. I'll be asking a couple of questions of the panellists. We won't be taking questions from the floor. That opportunity will present itself afterwards. Jonathan Ford, first of all. Fantastic news for the Football Association of Wales. A lot of hard work has gone into making this a success and seeing this fantastic outcome for Cardiff and for Wales.
Thank you, IG, and good morning. It is fantastic news, but it has been a journey, and a long journey. As you know, I've been in place for just over 5 years, and we made it very clear from the start that our ambition, of course, was to take our teams to the world and, of course, hopefully bring the world to us. And that means, of course, staging some of the events. But we were very new to that. We hadn't, in fact, staged any events before, and we needed to prove ourselves. We proved ourselves with the Under-19 Women's European Championships in West Wales in 2013. With the success of that, I'm pleased to say, we went on and staged a very successful Super Cup last year at the Cardiff City Stadium. And without that, we probably wouldn't have been in a position to have impressed the people that mattered in order to allow them to make the right decision. Of course, in between those two events, we also bid for the European Championships in 2020. And whilst we weren't successful that time, that paved the way, that demonstrated what we could do, that put the plans in place. Of course, that was based upon this stadium. There was an awful lot of work between the partners to put together a very strong and compelling bid, which it was. And on the back of that, I'm pleased to say we managed to do all that we could to ensure that we were viewed by UEFA as being right and fit to ensure that we could stage and make a great success of this. Of course, it's not something that the Football Association of Wales has ever been able to do alone. In fact, we must do it together in partnership with our partners. And of course, those partners include, of course, all of the people at the table. Of course, the stadium, the WIU, we can't do it without the stadium. Of course, we can't do it without the backing of the Welsh Government. We can't do it without the backing of the Cardiff City Council. And we can't do it without the government support as well. And I'd like to thank all of those partners. And of course, headed up by Alan Hamer, who's here very much, who's charged the bid forth, both for 2020 and for this. Without all of those people, without all of those partners, this wouldn't have been a successful bid.
What sort of impact do you see this having on Welsh football generally?
Well, our job is relatively simple. Our job is to develop, to promote and protect. And if you think about promoting and protecting, there's no better way than having some of the world's best footballers compete in what is now, in my mind, probably the single biggest match that is played in football. Yes, of course, you have the World Cup. Yes, you have the European Championships. UEFA consider the Champions League final on a par with the European Championships. It is a massive, massive match. I've been lucky to attend several in the past, and it really has become a massive victim of its own success. It is a truly global event. Of course, my job isn't just to operate the LOC, the Local Organising Committee, which we run by Alan, but also to ensure that actually we utilise this across everything we do. In the same with staging all of these events, the staging of the event is just the start of it. Our job is to ensure that we utilise that opportunity for football in Wales, for sport, to ensure that we get everybody active and that hopefully we can all use the opportunity to inspire a generation to be active for the future, to pick sport and to ensure that we get people involved in sport, not just on a playing capacity, but also on a volunteering capacity, you know, on a refereeing capacity. All of these aspects are important, and it will be very important for us to utilise this opportunity across Wales, not just on a single day, to ensure that we do that. One of the things that we've also decided to do to ensure that we have a lasting legacy is put a legacy fund together. And the Football Association of Wales, the FAW Council, have committed a minimum of £500,000 to that legacy, which will see some infrastructure improvement around the country on the back of the Champions League final to ensure that we have a lasting legacy for football in Wales.
And you've attended, as you said, several of these finals. What can we expect in Cardiff on the day?
Yeah, it is mammoth. We were lucky enough to send a few people over to Berlin recently. I've been lucky enough, I've attended some of these finals since Manchester 2003, Paris, about 8 or 9 of them in the last decade or so. And they really have become massive. It is like no other match. I mean, the furore behind it, the anticipation, the build-up is of great excitement. And you will know that the figures for live viewing audiences, you know, run into almost, hopefully by that point, 200 million or so across 200 plus countries. That's just live. Remember, of course, there's delayed, there's highlights, there's news footage. It goes considerably further than that. And as I said, UEFA look at this as being on a par with the European Championship finals. It's not just about the match, though. Of course, let's remember we've got the women's final will happen on the Thursday night at Cardiff City Stadium. The final here. Of course, there will be a festival. The festival alone that UEFA UEFA will set up, which will allow people the opportunity to see the trophies you see before you here, to visit the museum, to visit the shop, to visit other football-related activities, including things like Legends matches and the like that they do on a small-sided pitch. That alone in Berlin at the Brandenburg Gate attracted an audience of 300,000 people. And to put that in perspective, that's almost twice the number of people that were at Glastonbury recently. So it's a big event, and I hope that we have the opportunity, which we will do our utmost to take it around the country, to make sure that it's not just Cardiff, make sure it's a whole wide Wales celebration, and ensure, of course, that it's not just seen as 1 or 2 days, but there's a massive build-up, season-long, throughout schools, throughout communities, in the build-up to, I hope, what will culminate in a fantastic season finale here in Cardiff.
Jonathan mentioned the women's final. It's great that Jane Ludlow, who won the trophy 2007, was it, with Arsenal, is our national women's manager now, is here as well. Great to see you, Jane. Trevor, in terms of your capacity as president, beating Belgium recently, and this announcement today, it's fair to say you've had worse months. This must be pretty exciting news for yourself.
Yes, it is, Ian, and thank you very much indeed, and croeso I bawb. It's like a Roy of the Rovers stuff for me, because, as you well know, I reside in the most beautiful place in Wales, which is Anglesey, and I always promote Anglesey. I always promote Wales. It doesn't matter where I go. I always speak the language wherever I go, and they're very, very pleased to know and realise what we got in Wales. And as you well know, my term as president is coming to an end in about 2 months' time. But you know, the success of the national team in securing the Champions League final will have a long-lasting effect on Welsh football. There's no doubt about that. I'm a keen believer in development, because we've got to make sure we've got people coming through as well, and that's very important. But as Jonathan said, I'm very keen, and I've already spoken to the First Minister. Yes, we need to take it around Wales. We need the whole of Wales to be involved, and I've very, very strong feelings about that as well. We've had our low points in the Football Association of Wales, but now we're going up in the top there, and we want to celebrate and enjoy these wonderful times we have, because you, as people of the press, you're part of the team as well as us on the top table. You can't do without us, and we can't do without you. It's very important that you're involved as well, and I feel that very, very strongly.
So I'm sure you'd like to see these 2 trophies up in Anglesey in the next 18 months or so, Trevor?
Yeah, well, I've created history, be honest with you, Ian. The 3 UEFA Cups were in Anglesey when the Super Cup was here. We had them in Llanfairpwll Gwyngyll, and unbelievable. I doubt very much you will see them again, the 3 of them together in Anglesey. But hopefully, one day we will. But I don't think I'll be around to see that.
To the First Minister, the Wales Government has been part of this team, part of the bid process in bringing these fantastic trophies and the events to Cardiff. What do you see as the benefits, though, to Wales generally hosting the Champions League final?
Well, 2 main benefits. First of all, of course, the worth to the economy of the event. We know that it's going to be worth 40 million plus to the economy around Cardiff. And that's something we very much welcome. But secondly, of course, it's great in terms of projecting Wales to the world. Cardiff's the host city. Wales and its 3 million people is the host nation, and we look forward to welcoming people not just to Cardiff, but around Wales. 20 years ago, hosting an event of this magnitude would have been thought unbelievable. We have a magnificent stadium. We've worked closely with all the bodies represented up here to get to a point where we can host what is undoubtedly the biggest annual football match in the world, and one of the biggest matches you could possibly get. And of course, we mustn't forget, of course, the women's final as well. And we look forward to welcoming everybody to Cardiff and to Wales in 2017.
In football terms, the UEFA Super Cup last year, the UEFA Champions League, other sporting events that take place, it's certainly, as you said there, it is putting Wales on the sporting map, and I suppose makes your job easier when you're trying to sell the country.
Well, yeah, it is. We know that sport's a great way of raising a profile as a country. There are many of you who will remember that the Republic of Ireland in 1990 and their football team in that decade did a lot, not just to raise the profile of Ireland, but helped to regenerate the economy of Ireland as well. So we know how important sport is, and sport's an important driver in the Welsh economy. This stadium particularly is worth hundreds of millions of pounds every year to Cardiff and the wider area. And of course we have events such as the Ryder Cup, hosted not too far down the road. For a nation of 3 million, we do exceptionally well in demonstrating we can host these events. We have a fantastic stadium in which to host the event, and above all else, we like to pride ourselves on the fact that people here will have a good welcome when they're here and will enjoy themselves in our country.
On to Roger Lewis. Roger, in terms of the Millennium Stadium, opened its doors, this fantastic stadium, back in 1999. It's hosted some fantastic events. As the Chief Executive, you must be really proud that you're bringing one of the great sporting events in terms of globally to Cardiff.
Well, this is Team Wales playing at the top of its game. Together, we are bringing the biggest sporting event in 2017 in the world to Wales, to Cardiff, to the Millennium Stadium. And I'd certainly like to thank all of my partners on the top table for what they've done to make this event happen. I'd also like to personally thank my team at the Welsh Rugby Union and the team at the Millennium Stadium as well. In particular, it's a big thank you to the Welsh Government, because together we've invested millions in the stadium over recent years to be able to stage such an event. We've got a fantastic pitch system now in place, which we launched last year. We've got one of the world's best audiovisual systems with some of the biggest big screens in Europe. We have our retractable roof. It is a venue, an iconic venue that everyone in Wales should be so proud of. And that's why it's big thanks to the FAW for all the work they've done to allow us to stage this. And along with the Welsh Government, to Cardiff City Council as well, for the work that they did back in 1999 to facilitate the building of this incredible stadium. So we're so proud to be able to welcome this. And it's something that all of Wales can share in, because we are welcoming the world to Wales. Millions upon millions of people will see positive pictures of our great nation, of our great capital, of our great city, of our great stadium beamed across the globe.
To those who haven't attended an event maybe at this stadium, what can they look forward to? And why do you think it has such a special place in people's hearts? Why do they love it so much?
The stadium is truly unique. To have a stadium bang in the centre of a city with such immediate access to rail links, to the airport, to the roads, it is something very, very special indeed. To have a stadium that is so connected to its city, to its restaurants, to its hotels, to its pubs, is something very, very special. More than that, of course, a retractable roof. The sun always shines in the Millennium Stadium. And that is something very, very special indeed. So whatever the conditions, we can guarantee the greatest playing surface in the world. We can guarantee an event that will look fantastic on the television. And we can guarantee an event that the fans, some 74,000 of them, can arrive in the stadium in great spirits and enjoy, I think, one of the most magical moments in sporting events, when they go into the city and have that welcome, as the First Minister said, from such a welcoming nation.
Thank you, Roger. On to Phil Bale. Phil, in terms of the Super Cup was in Cardiff last year, but we made it a whole Wales event, and I'm sure that will be the case again this time. But what an opportunity for Cardiff as a city.
Absolutely. I think all of the research we've seen from recent finals has been that there's been an estimated economic benefit of around £40 million to those host cities. We're determined as the leading city in Wales to make sure that we make the most of those economic opportunities, not just for ourselves, but as has been said earlier, for the whole of Wales. I went on a delegation to Berlin. It was very noticeable how the road to Berlin and Berlin 2015 was everywhere. And I think there's significant opportunities for the road to Cardiff and Cardiff 2017 to really drive our profile, not just on a national but on an international scale. And that's tremendously exciting, I think, for everyone in the city. We spent a great deal of time over many years investing in the infrastructure, the sporting and cultural infrastructure of this city, so that we can attract events like this. We're the fastest growing city in the UK at the moment. There's a number of exciting developments taking place, and I think this will really help to accelerate the progress on some of those projects. I also think the benefits in terms of community sport are enormous. The festival, the Champions League festival that runs alongside this event, is a fantastic way to engage young people. I was at a school in Cardiff yesterday. The number of youngsters there that are wearing shirts from Barcelona or other big leading clubs, this really does present an opportunity for us to get young people in a fast-growing, successful modern European city engaged in sport, in a growing sport, a popular world sport like football.
And of course it's been a team effort, but yourself, the City of Cardiff, have played a big part in attracting the Champions League here.
That's right. I mean, one of the first decisions I took when I became leader of the council was to support the FAW's bid for the Euro 2020 championships. Went over for that. There was some disappointment at that time, but I think we've made the most of that opportunity, and I think it's really important now that we work together to make sure that we maximise the benefits going forward. The opportunity to visit Berlin earlier this year was very, very useful, I think, for those that took part in that, and I think we'll make sure that we make the most of those opportunities going forward.
Thank you. Thank you to all five. There will be the opportunity, the first thing we will do is a photo opportunity outside of the stadium. There will also be an opportunity for one-to-one interviews. I know some have to leave earlier than others, but obviously we will arrange the interviews if you come up to the respective press offices to ask who you'd like to speak to in the next half hour or so. Thank you very much for attending. Diolch yn fawr iawn am fod yma. I'd just like to mention good luck to our own champions, the New Saints, who are opening their Champions League account this evening in the Faroe Islands. Good luck to them. And we all look forward, of course, to hosting these fantastic events in Cardiff in June 2017. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi. Thank you to the top table. Thank you for all attending, and let's celebrate the fact, of course, that the Champions League matches are coming here to Cardiff and to Wales. It's absolutely fantastic news. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.